Well, hello, glorious people of the interwebs, and welcome back to Anthem. I've been playing this game a lot lately, and I'm really enjoying it despite the reviews, and I do really think that this game has a ton of potential. The devs are really listening to the community, and they're pumping out updates to make this game the best that they can. Now, they did do a few steps backwards the other day with loot, but that is thankfully being fixed in some ways, and hopefully going to be improving drastically over time, over the next few days, weeks, and months. So I am really excited for the future of Anthem, and we're going to be discussing an amazing update that's going to be coming today or tomorrow. And there was an update released today as well, which does some other changes in the game, which will be hugely beneficial. Now we're going to get into all of this today, so I hope you guys all enjoy the video, and if you want more Anthem related content, feel free to let me know in the comments below or fondle that like button. I know I haven't actually recorded a lot of stuff specifically for Anthem. We have been doing live streams, but from now on I will be covering updates for Anthem, builds, and stuff like that, because I do quite enjoy this game, and I want to be able to have different types of games on the channel. Now, before we get into the coming changes that will be in a later patch tonight or tomorrow, we are going to cover the patch that came out early this morning, which changes some key things in Anthem. The tethering timer for missions has been increased, and players should now have more time to catch up to their squad before seeing a countdown timer, which I think is really great. The timer was a little ridiculous at times, and it did cause you to go through an additional short loading screen, which could get particularly annoying, especially after just loading into a game and then you hit another tether timer and then have to load again. That could be very frustrating, although I did see that improve a lot over the past few weeks. Any improvement to that will be nice, although sometimes having that tethering timer can be a little bit of an advantage in certain situations, but regardless, this is a great change. Now, we've also got the Swarm Tyrant encounter in the Tyrant Mine Stronghold can now no longer be reset by the entire squad exiting to the main menu and rejoining the session in progress. This was a glitch, although it was a good glitch because if you had a really great team that could clear it fast, this was kind of nice to be able to farm loot. Regardless, fortunately, that is gone, and some people were probably going to be upset about this. Others are going to be like, hey, it was a glitch anyway, so it should be gone, but I'm 50-50 on this one. And now players are no longer able to reopen chests that had already been looted in strongholds. That's an obvious glitch, shouldn't have been in the game in the first place. Reduces the amount of loot you can get through glitching, but regardless, it is a needed change because it was a glitch. Now, these weren't crazy updates, but it was things that needed to happen. Now we're going to get into the interesting stuff and the things that I really wanted to talk about in this video, but this patch had literally just come out as I was deciding to record this. But regardless, we've got an update from one of the lead producers, Ben Irving on Twitter last night, which highlights some of the loot changes that are highly needed. And one of the gripes that I had with loot, and I think this is really important, so things are going to be changing with the inscriptions, and I think this is going to be amazing. It was really annoying getting like a rifle that had increased pistol damage, because if you're using a rifle, you're probably not going to be using a pistol, or, you know, it was just really frustrating having inscriptions on the weapon or item that didn't tailor to the weapon or the rest of your javelin. So there's going to be some awesome changes coming out later today on the 28th or early on March 1st. So let's get into this. Now, they said, first off, thank you for the feedback around loot drops. This is what we heard. Many inscriptions are not useful to the item they are attached to. I thought that was pretty crazy when I first started seeing loot drop with just crazy inscriptions that had no relation to the items. It was just a mess. Due to this, players need to get many masterworks of the same item to find a quote-unquote good one. Players want the frequency of masterwork drops to increase to help with the above, or they want us to change the masterwork inscriptions work so that they are more quote-unquote useful. And this I agree with 100%. I don't necessarily want more masterworks to drop. I just want the masterworks that I do get to be good. I don't necessarily want them to be amazing every time, but I want at least the inscriptions on them to be relevant to the item or to the javelin. This is more feedback, and the above is a summary. Now, this is their plan for changes to go live on February 28th or March 1st, Central US time. Inscriptions are now better for the items they are on. This applies to the new items earned in Anthem, not existing ones in your vault. So what this means is all the items that you've gotten over the past few weeks, their inscriptions are not going to change. And this would have been highly difficult to do, but what they're doing is every item that will drop from this patch onward will have specific inscriptions on them that will be beneficial to that item or to the javelin. Now, I'm perfectly fine with this. It allows us to, at least when we're farming for better items, we know we're going to get much better stuff than we had before. If an inscription applies only to the item it is on, a gear icon, it'll be useful to that item. Otherwise, the inscriptions will provide a javelin-wide benefit, which I think is great. For example, an assault rifle will not have an item-specific plus pistol damage inscription. It may have a plus electric damage suit-wide inscription for a cool lightning build. Now, I think this is great, and I really like that idea. Now, obviously, this means if you get increased assault rifle damage, that'll be great, but if you get plus an element on it that you're not using, then you want to farm up a different weapon that will have a different element or a different javelin-wide inscription that will be beneficial to your particular build. But at least this allows you to acquire different weapons that could apply to different builds and have just a really good time getting loot that actually makes sense. So great things coming for that. And there's also some more information in here. We removed uncommon white and common green items from level 30 drop tables. There was nothing more frustrating than doing a Grandmaster level 1, 2, or 3, anything, mission, stronghold, contract, legendary contract, what have you, and then killing like a Titan and then having a common and an uncommon item drop. That was just batshit crazy, especially when you're at like a 480 javelin item level. It was just ridiculous having such low-level loot drop. It just felt like a punch in the dick. It was just atrocious. But otherwise, I did think that the gear farm is a lot easier than really any other looter shooter that I've played. And I was able to gear up extremely fast as it was. So while it was like a punch in the dick, it really, on the grand scheme of things, I was able to get my javelin up to a very, very high, almost max level gear score in a very quick amount of time without having to play much, so I really can't complain, but this is definitely a massive step in the right direction because it's still, seeing those uncommons and commons drop in Grandmaster levels was kind of ridiculous. So this was a highly requested change, and we agree. So that's that. So it's great that the devs are legitimately listening to the community. This is really, really great signs for a game, especially when they're pumping out patches this quickly. You know, one of my gripes with Red Dead Redemption Online is that I want to love online so bad, but not only are the devs really not listening to the community, even though they say they are listening and getting feedback and stuff like that, and they did make some changes in the most recent update, but it took like 4 months for them to implement anything. Anthem only just came out and it's had like, what, 4 or 5 patches, all of community-related feedback to make the game better. Like, this is just far and beyond, and it's a really great sign for the future of this game. So that's why I'm excited for this game, because that's really, really important. Obviously, we've got a lot more here. They have reduced the crafting materials needed to craft a masterwork from 25 masterwork embers to 15. I think this is a great change. It was a little ridiculous going from 5 needed to craft for everything, and then you jump up to masterworks, and it was 25 just out of nowhere, which is also significantly harder to find. So it was just a crazy jump. I think 15 is a little bit more reasonable. I think 10 would have even been fine, but 15 is a hell of a lot better than 25. So definitely a step in the right direction there. And then as you salvage or harvest, you should be able to craft more masterwork items to get the inscriptions you are looking for. That inscriptions are more relevant to their item, this should yield better results for players. So not only are we getting better inscriptions in general now, it's going to be easier to craft them and easier to harvest items to be able to craft them. So all really great steps in the right direction. Unfortunately, I think it may become a little too easy to get masterworks because you're already getting free ones every day, and if you hop into a mission with a legendary contract, you're going to get a guaranteed one, but obviously you could get duplicates and stuff like that. So all really great steps in the right direction. Now, there are some additional inscription change details in these notes, and he states specifically it's hard to write a short version of this, but he's going to try anyways. If we need to add more information later on, they're going to do that in patch notes, but regardless, here's a little bit more detail into the inscriptions. Currently, There are a large pool of inscription options to roll on items. The inscription pools are generic, example, weapons. Every masterwork item has 4 inscriptions, major primary, minor primary, major secondary, and minor secondary. Change. Each item type now has a specific set of inscription options for each of their inscription pools. The pools are smaller and are targeted to the specific item type. Example, there used to be a weapon pool. Now there is an assault rifle pool, and an assault rifle pool has 4 pools of each of the inscription types listed below. So, primary inscriptions are focused on damage or survivability, and the item-specific inscription, gear icon, will always benefit the item they are on. Javelin-wide inscriptions, suit icons, will benefit damage or survivability across the whole javelin. Now, secondary inscriptions focus on utility and can be targeted to the item gear icon or the javelin suit icon. So it's going to obviously be, that's pretty self-explanatory, so now it's just split up. Instead of just weapon stuff, there is now a loot pool for every single weapon type, or item type, basically, if you have, you know, specific components and things like that. So very, very cool. I definitely like that system a lot better. It makes a lot more sense, and I believe people are going to be significantly more happy with the loot tables going forward. Now, there are likely a bunch of questions in here, and they'll read through the comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to post this Reddit discussion in the description, so you can read through here, see any replies and stuff like that, any concerns. And I think it'll be great for the community. So I'm going to put that down in the description below. Feel free to check it out if you so desire. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. I am looking forward to this new loot table, and I will be live streaming this and playing it once it's released. And obviously, I'm going to start trying to release more Anthem-related content on the channel. So if you're new and you enjoy Anthem or any of the other games I play on the channel, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.